Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing a reading journal video for two of my favorite books for July. The one on the left is a historical fiction World War II book called Beyond That, the Sea, and then the other one is True Love Experiment. I wanted to add some waves since this has to do with the ocean and just the whole being across the ocean. The main character had to go away because of World War II, and I'll explain that later. But the ocean is a central thing, and I wanted to add the waves, and I found a spring stamp set that had waves on it, but like some words underneath that. So I just made sure to kind of not use those words, and then that way I could just use the wave. I did wind up splatting my ink right towards the bottom of my page, but that's okay, whatever. I tried to clean it with my sand eraser, but it got a little bit off, but I'm just going to keep moving forward. Now, the other book, True Love Experiment, had fireworks on it, so it was obvious to me to find a stamp that had fireworks on it, which I have from Ali Edwards, and so I'm just stamping in some pinks and purples. And then for the middle of this spread, I just took the stamp off the acrylic block and then just stamped it with my hand as best as I could. So I'm going really simple with these pages just because I need all the room. You know, I love to write a lot, and I just wanted to keep it simple. I also added in a second firework that I found from a Studio Calico stamp, and once again just used my hand for the middle. And then I'll add a few more sentiment stamps, and that's it. I did go looking through my Ali Edwards story kit stamps to see if there was any other sentiments that would apply to either of these books, and I actually found the latest story kit stamp, Let Go, and I'm going to use that. It has some really perfect phrases on it that I want to use, like let go up at the top by the book cover, which is really perfect, and then down at the bottom I used a quote stamp that says we must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. And then for the right hand side, I grabbed the XO story kit stamp and I stamped a little love story and XO and then a circle of XOs. So once again, using stamps that were not necessarily intended for reading, journaling, or documenting books, but I have found a way to use them. So now I'm going to work on the synopsis on the left-hand side. This book is about World War II, like I said, and the bombs are falling in London in 1940, and two parents, Millie and Reginald, make the hard decision to send their 11-year-old daughter, Bee, across to America for safety. Now, I don't know if you guys have read World War II books, but I know that when there was bombing in London, they sent the kids away to the countryside. I had never known that children were also sent all the way to America. I had no idea. That's just, I can't even imagine putting my child on a giant ship and shipping them across. I just can't. Okay. Back to the synopsis. Bee arrives in Boston to meet the Gregorys. Bee is welcomed into their world, and Bee fits right in with both boys, William and Gerald. As the years go by, Bee becomes a part of the family and is no longer the scared young girl. Her life with the Gregory feels more real and layered than hers in England. Eventually, Bee returns to post-war England and to blend her worlds together. Can she forget the Gregorys, or is there a way to meld her worlds together? And so it's a really fascinating book about World War II and just this character Bee who has these two different lives essentially, and as the years go by she has to decide if she wants to put them together, put these worlds together, and can they work together. So my thoughts were that this was a very atmospheric and captivating book as far as both settings in America and England. I really loved the characters. I felt like they were full of depth and layered, and seeing them grow through the years and how they change. It's like you're getting to know a person because you essentially meet these characters in young childhood. So it was really interesting to grow up with these characters There is wonderful themes of found family, choices, grief, sacrifice, and love. Just really captivated by this book. But again, World War II is definitely one of my favorite subjects and genres to read about. I'm drawing a skinny box up at the top because I wanted to make sure I had room for a quote. But I don't know what number this book is. So I went back to look at Fourth Wing, and Fourth Wing was like 78. So then I went back to the 2023 books, and that way I'm able to count forward to figure out what number beyond that the C is, which it is 81. Genre is historical, World War II, and I put 5-star rating. I think I'm going to color that in a little bit. So the quote that I picked is, "When you look back, it's so easy to see the path that you've traveled, but looking forward, there are only dreams and fears." I feel like that's a quote that could really be analyzed and find a lot of different meanings in it for a lot of different people. And again, I ran out of room, probably could have added a flip or a flap so that way I could do another quote, but that's okay. Sometimes I need to just tell myself to keep things a little bit simpler. So I wound up with a gap right there above the let go and the quote, and I went looking through my stamps, and this is where I found a stamp that worked perfect. It said, "Trust the timing of your life," and it's not going to fit all the way across, so I'm going to stamp "Trust the timing," and then use my scrap paper to do "of your life," but when I went to stamp it, the "your life" did not stamp, so I just took it off the acrylic block and stamped it myself and hoped that it would work, and it did, which is so awesome. We all love it when our stamps cooperate with us, right? Okay, so I'm now going to move on to the true love experiment. And I will say, I feel like I have a confession to make. I will say, I don't think that this book was a 5-star book for me. It wasn't a complete favorite. The reason I am documenting it is because I loved the whole concept of the book and how this whole romance came about. And it kind of explains itself in the synopsis. So Felicity Chen, aka Fizzy, is a romance novelist who realizes she's never had the love she writes about. The all-in, consuming love isn't something Fizzy has ever had. Connor Prince is a documentary filmmaker and single father. He generally sticks to nature films, but then his money-hungry boss asked him to do a reality TV show. And with a run-in with Fizzy, the queen of romance, helps to put his job-saving show into motion. Fizzy isn't on board with Connor's show idea unless he can meet her very specific list of demands. I mean, these demands are out there, and they have to do with romance tropes, which I don't think gives anything away, but he agrees and he says yes, and then the show, called The True Love Experiment, is a go. Will Fizzy find the consuming love she's been looking for? Is there love out there for Connor? Soon, these two will realize that love is closer than they think. So it's a really, like I said, really interesting concept of like a whole reality show. And it's actually a romance between the filmmaker and essentially the contestant, right? So that was really interesting to me, and that's kind of why I was like, I'm going to add this into my reading journal. My thoughts, I already said the whole concept of it. I really love the banter between Connor and Fizzy. It was really fantastic. I loved seeing their friendship build and the addition of the romance tropes. And it was overall a really delightful book. I just wished that there was more of the Fizzy and Connor aspect, just the two of them. That would have been more to my liking. And then the quote that I'm going to add at the bottom is, "He is the stillness to my storm, the shadow to my bright sunlight, the styles to my Harry." Felt like that was fitting and just cute. And then I will add in my rating, which is like 4.5, 4.25. And then the book number is 83 out of 100, and genre is romance. And then I will be done with this spread. I'm currently reading the Thursday Murder Club, so that is really interesting, and I just started that. And I'm kind of in between audiobooks right now. So I'm just counting up the book for True Love Experiment, and then I will show you guys a little close-up, and then I will be done. And on Friday, I'll have Project Life and a personal life update video to share. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.